I'm from Hyderabad in India, which is the southern part of the country. While growing up, I have heard a lot of incidents of spirits and ghosts and was scared of them very much. I'm scared even now. It so happens that ghosts and spirits is a topic of conversation, which comes up often within our friends group as well. On the night of this incident, all the 8 of us were having a drinks night. Not everyone in the group consumes alcohol due to personal and religious beliefs. So, while 5 of us were having drinks, the other 3 were sitting along with us and having conversations about everything and anything which came up. Surprisingly, no one raised the topic of spirits or ghosts. We were not heavily drunk, but were drunk enough to laugh loud and talk loud. The stage between being sober and being drunk. But the conversations were very light-hearted, although a little loud. I will explain the location we're sitting at. It was an apartment tower of 6 floors. One of the members of the group is the son of the owner of that tower. Due to government regulations, the tower could not be built taller than 6 floors. However, the owner put an unofficial 7th floor. They made a small room and left the rest of the place as open terrace without any sidewalls. The room was so small that it would be filled up the moment 2 people enter it. To reach the terrace where we were at, there is no staircase. There is a ladder which we all used to go up and down. The ladder was always at its place so that we don't have to keep moving it. One married woman committed suicide by jumping from that open terrace roughly 5 years before that day, due to some problems. We were aware of the suicide, but never suspected anything, nor was there any paranormal activities after the suicide. While we were continuing to drink, I could hear the sound of someone walking slowly on the 6th floor, since I could hear the sound coming from downstairs. The sound I could hear is not of the footsteps, but of the sound of pile, an ornament worn by girls in India, generally made of silver. This ornament is made in such a way that when the person wearing pile walks, it makes a subtle but soothing sound. I could hear that. Since there were no side walls, I could see a part of the 6th floor front lawn. I could hear the sound from around the lawn, but couldn't see anyone. This was around 2 a.m. I ignored the sound and continued the conversation. While some part of me was still expecting some activity, I ignored that sound, because I happened to read sometime before that night that there is some kind of an insect which flies in the night and makes a sound similar to that of the pile. Hence, I ignored since there was nothing else to focus on the sound at that moment. While we continued our drinks and conversations, another guy from the group became silent all of a sudden, and his facial expression changed to reflect that he was trying to concentrate. He put his drink down, but still holding the glass and trying to concentrate on something. After a minute, he picked his drink and continued the conversation. I should have asked him what happened, but I did not. It was around 2:15 a.m., and we wanted to finish up our drinks and go to sleep. We planned on sleeping on the terrace itself that night. But just then, a third guy from our group told us that he was intermittently hearing some sound of pile since last 20 to 30 minutes. I added to the chorus that I also heard the sound but ignored it. The second guy also said the same thing. 2 of these 3 people were under the influence of alcohol, but the third guy is a teetotaler, not even aerated drinks. Just then a 4th guy also said that he could hear the sound as well, but was scared to mention it and hence just sat tight. With the other 4 were trying to talk to us, and almost on the verge of making fun of us that were too drunk, the sound started again. This time, the sound was traveling upstairs from where the ladder was placed. We could hear it in an increasing frequency, as if someone was coming close to with each step. This burst all the comfort within us. We were scared as hell. It so happened that the whole group could now hear the sound. Two people in the group left the place after this approaching sound and called us on our mobile phones that they were downstairs and were heading home, and that they didn't see anyone nor did have any trouble getting to the ground floor. The remaining 6 stood there without a clue and were contemplating what to do next. We decided to go and settle inside the small room, which was built. It also had a door. We could continuously hear the sound of pile around us within couple of feet distance. We went into the room and latched the door from inside. It was 3 a.m. by now, and once we locked the door from inside and sat down, we heard someone banging on the door in multiples of 3. The banging was so strong that the door was being pushed to open with every bang. It was very loud and strong. At this moment, we didn't know what to do next and were determined not to open the door. After a few minutes, the banging stopped and we slipped into sleep slowly. Until today, we don't know what has happened and who the visitor was. The friend whose apartment it was said that it could have been his grandmother who came to see him. She passed away long years ago. He was along with us all the while and he did not drink. He could hear the sound and banging as well. But why and how was the banging on the door made? How could invisible beings make sounds and bang doors? All this within the center of the city and not an isolated area.